Now, you hear a lot of people say, just sell ebooks, that ebooks are easy money when it comes to selling digital products. But I noticed that not much people really talk about the mistakes that could actually cost you sales, like real life reality. Well, I tried selling ebooks for 90 days and I made all of the rookie errors that you are probably about to make. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down all of my rookie mistakes, the strategy I tried that actually failed, and what actually worked. Now, if you look at my screen right now, you can see here digital product, and I sold 90 using this particular platform. So this is actually from my experience. So if you are thinking of launching your own digital product, especially an ebook, then you're about to get the real story that a lot of creators actually do not share. And now the first strategy that I did that actually worked was that I identified a real pain point in my niche, then validated it if people were willing to pay for a solution for that particular pain point. Now, if you've seen other of my ebook tutorials, you would see how I tell you how important it is to ensure that you first of all do your research in finding pain points of your ideal audience within your niche. You have to also validate that pain point and also test launch it. Don't worry, I'm going to be leaving a video on that at the end of this video, just in case you want to know a step-by-step tutorial on how you can do that. However, the first mistake that I made that I eventually learned from was overcomplicating the system. Now, I was overcomplicating the entire sales process. I was thinking, okay, if my funnel looks fancy, then I'll make more sales. I was literally building landing pages, hooking up automations, trying fancy upsells. It all looked beautiful, from the outward, but there was just one problem. People were getting lost halfway through the process. And before you get to the end of the funnel, it had filtered almost 60% of the leads. This is to let you know that complexity kills conversion. You want to keep your sales process very simple. Like, people should be able to see the product, know the price, and be able to buy it in 2 clicks or less. And the moment I decided to simplify that particular sales process, I noticed that my leads skyrocketed and my sales increased. The next mistake I actually made was wasting money on tools. I was spending way too much money on things that didn't matter because I was thinking, okay, if I could buy expensive funnel software, if I could pay for fancy landing page, then it will automatically translate into more revenue and more profit. However, all that spending ate into the profit that I was supposed to be making. The truth is that a lot of these tools are not really necessary, especially when you are starting out small scale in your digital product selling business. Only invest in tools that directly help you sell big time. If it's something you can maneuver around, if it's something you can do without, you can do without it. And when I scrapped a few of the tools I was using, it made me to see that even without those things, I was selling way better. Another mistake that I made was that I used overcomplicated ad creatives. I was using complicated videos. I was using over-designed flyers and stuff like that. I was thinking, okay, the more fancy the ads are, then that is what will get people to click and want to, of course, see what I have to offer. But when I tested all of the things I used, guess the one that worked? The most simplest and the most basic picture with less than 20 text was the one that actually led to more leads and more sales. In fact, it was just a screenshot of an actual result. And this is what made me understand that when it comes to trying to sell digital products, simple sells better. Now, another mistake that I actually made that you should not make too is targeting the wrong platform. One mistake that I made was assuming that my audience wanted to be contacted through a particular platform. So when it comes to selling a digital product, you need to understand where exactly your leads, your ideal audience, are usually more available on. So initially, I was familiar with email marketing. So I was like, okay, if I create my ads and I direct these leads, I can then start sending them emails. But the thing was that I wasn't getting much response. And even those who eventually put their emails, I was literally getting 0 response back. Why? Because the people I was targeting rarely checked their emails. So when I switched my focus from email to WhatsApp, where they currently are already actively gathered, my results completely skyrocketed by doing that change. So you want to find out where your audience is, where they actually hang out, and go and sell to them there. Another mistake that is commonly made is that they expect instant sales. I actually studied this book, How to Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Subi. That book is fire, by the way. And he said that only 3% of people actually purchase immediately the moment they see an ad? Or have you come across an ad and you purchased the product immediately the first time you saw it? It rarely happens. It is the same thing with your ideal audience. They don't immediately buy, so the whole essence of the ads is not to make sales. The real selling happens after people actually enter your funnel. Now, another mistake I actually made was being too salesy. I bombarded people with DMs, constant pitches, and hard sales. And guess what? People ghosted me. Why? Because I realized that people do not like to be sold to. People want help. They want solution. They want someone they trust to guide them. So instead of pitching people in their DMs about 3 times a week, I created a group and allowed the interested persons to join that group where I actually gave value first. And the moment I switched my perspective from hard sales to creating value first and then truly shared my digital product as a next logical step, I saw a drastic improvement in sales. So the moment you get these leads into your funnel, you don't just want to start pitching to them, buy. Instead, you want to provide value first and pitch later. Now, here are a few things that actually worked in the course of my ebook selling business that I started. The first thing is simple funnels. I already talked about this. After failing with complex funnels, in fact, I decided to slim fit my funnel down to just 3 steps: the ad, my WhatsApp DM, and the WhatsApp group. And simplicity actually wins. Another thing that actually worked was creating urgency. You need to understand that people want to buy a solution, they want help, but if you do not create an urgency, you would leave them to come to you at any time they like, could be in 2 years' time. But creating urgency makes them to see why they should get it now, why it's important to get that solution now. Another thing that actually worked was speaking the language of the buyer. When you learn to understand the customer's language with regards to their pain point, they are able to relate with you better and they will be more convinced about your digital product. For example, if you are selling an ebook on how to lose belly fat, you do not pitch phrases like how to lose weight. That is not the phrase they are familiar with. That is not the phrase that they relate with. So when you use the exact phrase, it makes you feel like you understand where they are coming from and your digital product will actually help them. Now, another great thing that actually worked in my ebook selling business was quick and flexible payment process. People should be able to click once, twice, and it goes. It should not have a faulty payment process, because the moment people go there and they experience just a little bit of glitch, they may never even remember to come back to buy it again, and that sale is actually lost. And one very important thing that actually works is build a product worth buying. I'm going to tell you this for free, is that one good review can attract 5 persons, but you see one bad reviews could chase like 20 persons a week. So if you have a product that promises a certain value, make sure it delivers up to the extent to which it is. So if you are looking to start a successful ebook selling business and you do not know how to create an ebook, well, I have attached a video to the end of this video on how you can create an ebook from scratch, how you can find the pain points of your ideal audience, validate that pain point, and test launch the ebook to see people's response to it. So you want to click the video you see on your screen right now and go check it out. Ciao.